Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, with Seven of Deadly Sins, which I really wish they were in this, at least someone from the Sins was in this game. But I truly do think this show is kind of just like in its own lane. There's not much Seven Deadly Sins has to conveyed anymore. It's its own story. It's its own thing where now that it's gone so long, it can do whatever it wants and still feel relatively um, coherent with the overall image of that they're trying to present. Like this world where all of these demons and like gods and angels and goddesses kind of hated each other, but on the surface, there was a middle ground where they both kind of coexisted and couldn't use their full powers and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting concept to think Meliodas, the guy who was about to be the next Demon King, kind of throws everything away to be on the middle surface to protect humans and be in love with his, love of his life and all that stuff, while at the same time we're looking at, so much different entities that haven't even shown up in this show, like his father or like the one above all the angels and the god, so I don't think we've seen either of them and what they've actually like done in the battles, like what they've actually bring to these crazy fights in between the two races of demons and gods. So I love that aspect that that's still out there, and this is where it kind of is now stemming from is we're going all the way back to the time period as to where it was at its most talked about, the most crazy it's been for quite some time. And because of that, we get to learn so much more of Meliodas now and everybody who kind of has a big role within the 2000 year or 3000, yeah, 2 or 3000 years time skip. And Meliodas pretty much still looking like himself and being probably stronger than he was. He's definitely stronger than he was at the very beginning of season 1, but I think he's stronger now than he is at this period of time. So that's good in the case of he's grown since then. But with what all comes forward with for me is power. Whose power will transcend, too far, where we need help from different allies that we never expected or something along those lines. And with Seven Deadly Sins, we never really gotten that aspect of, oh, this guy's gonna skyrocket and take over everything. Besides Meliodas, maybe, right? Like he's the only one truly who has um, that persona about him that he can keep growing and become ridiculously stronger, including seeing him taking on all the commandments by himself, something that he wanted to prepare everybody for to do together. And he almost solos them by himself if he actually could have got the revenge counter off. So I truly think Seven Deadly Sins is one of, if not like it's underrated. And I think it's mostly due to the time period of the breaks and whatnot that has happened with it. I mean, you get season 1, and if you have to wait 4 or 5 years almost to get season 2, a lot of people just don't care anymore. So that really dropped off a lot of their viewership. But at the same time, I'm getting to watch this show while dub users can't watch it. Like our dub viewers can't watch, right? So that was always another thing is how Netflix handles it and just holds it hostage until it feels like dropping it all as one coherent season. And then once you get that one whole coherent season, the only reason why you find out they did that was because they needed to just get all the dubs and even other Englishes and languages down first before putting out just sub and dub. So we need French, we need, Spanish. All that different stuff comes with the English, usually on Netflix, and that's what they wait for. Um, so that's one reason why you're not going to be seeing it for quite some time. But I think that's another reason why the show as a whole is kind of becoming underrated and becoming less talked about than it should be. But yeah, this week's episode dabbles in something of going in back in time to give an understanding of what truly all everything's coming for the future. It must have been really hard to believe how long Meliodas has been alive for as well. So King and Diane are getting a real good look at how long he truly has been alive, and that goes for Elizabeth too, right? Like she's been reincarnated or she's somehow alive all of this time, and because of that, it puts forward the narrative of whoever kind of is in this time period has seen some crazy stuff, and if you're still alive somehow, it's you're the only ones who get to share this story, and it just so happens to be an elf and a giant. That's I think today is the first time we ever heard someone call Diane like their daughter. So we're looking at a possible reunion between father and daughter for the first time, and that's pretty nutty, and it makes a lot of sense with how he fought. Well, he didn't even fight, like how he danced on her, literally used no muscles. He just danced and beat her in the case of the attacks completely missing, and then him using and transforming the earth around her attacks destroyed him. So guy's broken, and I'm just looking forward to anything related to this show because it's always been something I look forward to. It's just seeing the white blood and stuff is definitely sucky, but I have no real problem with it as long as the unedited stuff shows up sooner or later, right? I don't care. As long as there is a version where there's no white blood, which there wasn't much fighting in here to even convey that, but when it gets towards the end and we see Meliodas chopping away, we definitely see all the white blood, so it's gonna be probably when the dub drops, maybe that version will be out, but I like how people were like, just wait for it to be uncensored, but I'm a channel that talks about anime on the daily. I can't just be like, well, alright, everybody on my anime channel, we're not talking about Meliodas or anything Seven Deadly Sins until I can finally enjoy just seeing blood, okay? We're not going to talk about the plot, we're not going to talk about the character development, nothing. Just until I get to see better blood color. So, I'm not that petty. So, I would love to see that happen in the future, but regardless if it doesn't for now, then who cares? I still love the story and I still love the characters amongst this stuff. And seeing that we're going to learn more about Meliodas and his past with Elizabeth and stuff, it's going to be interesting, guaranteed. So I hope everyone's having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. So with that, peace.